Good evening. Good evening, citizens of Louisburg, and welcome to our June 19th meeting for the Louisburg Town Council. I'm glad to see all of you here this evening. It's the first time that we filled this chamber to the max, and I want to thank all of you for coming out to observe us conducting the town meetings and governing here in Louisburg. I also must say that we are at our capacity with 45 seats, and may I ask, with all due respect, the patrons who are standing, could I ask you to just move to the lobby, please? Please, you don't have to leave. We want you to stay. This is for safety purposes. Again, thank you for coming out this evening. And we'll begin by having our roll call.
Mayor Neal?
Here.
Councilman Dickerson?
Here.
Councilwoman Stewart? Here. Councilwoman Stein?
Here.
Councilwoman Wright?
Here.
Councilman Clancy?
Here.
Councilman Russell?
Here.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Wright, could I ask you to lead us in invocation, please?
Most holy, everlasting, eternal God, our Heavenly Father, Lord, once again we come to you thanking you for another day. Thank you, Lord, for those that have gathered here today. Let us be decent and in order and do the affairs of the town. Thank you, Lord, for everybody that's here, those that wanted to come, but for some reason or another they could not make it. Thank you, Lord, go with us, be with us, and just bless this county, bless our town, that we may be about our Father's good. These and other blessings I ask in your most holy and precious name. Amen.
Amen. Let me ask to turn and face the flag to our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 4 on our agenda, the adoption of the agenda. Could I get a motion to approve the adoption of the agenda?
Mayor, I make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we adopt our agenda for this evening. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 5 is the approval of our minutes. And we have 3 sets of minutes for approval tonight. Our May 15th regular meeting, which was on May 15th, and our May 19th, 2023 special call meeting, which was our budget workshop, and June 2nd, 2023, the special call meeting for our budget workshop again. Could I get a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and properly second that we approve the minutes for our May 15th, May 19th, and June 2nd meetings. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, item number 7, the adoption of an ordinance to amend Chapter 12 food truck regulations. And let me say before we begin, I know that there has been considerable public comments received regarding food trucks in our downtown area. I would like to make a motion to approve this ordinance in which it restores all eligible spaces that existed under the old rules, which includes space at the Tar Banks Brewery, as well as to direct our town administrator to organize a public input forum in the next 30 days to allow for comments from the public on any aspect of the regulations that affect food trucks and then report those findings back to the town council. Could I get a motion?
Second.
Okay. With the motion? Oh, okay. Second. Yes. Thank you. Just a little bit of humor here tonight. And before we pass, I think Mr. Slater, something you want to add? Just say it.
Only very briefly, Mayor. I won't mince words. I know that many of the citizens here tonight are here in response to this issue. There's no other way to put it. I missed the boat. That's all there is to it. When the town attempted to try to expand the number of spaces, the goal was to try to add some in and around downtown, for which we did, but what got lost in translation was basically the relationship between the space that's immediately adjacent to our Banks Brewery and the relationship of the brewery itself. I know that many of the patrons of the brewery enjoy the convenience of being able to get a beer, go out the back door, get whatever is available at the food truck. As I said, it was a blind spot. Nobody else is here is at fault except me. I wrote the ordinance, I own it. And I fully understand your passion, I appreciate your passion about what you feel is what should have been the case all along. Again, all I can tell you is, I try to sometimes do the best I can, but sometimes I just miss the mark. I missed the mark this time. There's just no other way of saying it. So I hope you will take this opportunity to realize that while we try our best, sometimes we just don't get it right. And tonight, I would like to think this is how democracy is supposed to work in the United States. The pendulum swung a little bit too far. Y'all are here to express your views. The pendulum now goes back to the middle. So that's what tonight's action is all about. Restoring what was there before and trying to improve what we already have. It's not lost on me, it's not lost on council, it's not lost on y'all. We all want to make Louisburg a better place. And that's hopefully, at the outcome of this, that will be the case. That's all I have to say, Mayor.
Thank you. It's been moved and properly seconded that we restore this ordinance. And all in favor of this, let it be shown by the show of your hands, please. All opposed? Okay, the ordinance passed. Thank you. Okay. The item number 8 on the agenda for tonight is the recognition of the Louisburg College softball team. Come in. We have everyone, and I'm sure the citizens recognize this, and I want to read this as well. It says, to Louisburg College and Hurricane Nation, congratulations to the Louisburg College Hurricane softball team on a historic season and all the record-breaking achievements accomplished along the way. Despite finishing 4th among the 16 teams competing for a national championship at the NJCAA Division II World Series, they will be remembered as one of the greatest to wear the Canes uniform. With an overall record of 63-5 and a perfect record of 38-0. That's a conference record. a regular season ranking of number 2, individual team home run records, an amazing 56-0 winning record, and a roster full of talent set to return. This team will be reckoned with next season. To the Hurricane Nation, the mayor, and the citizens of Louisburg, thank you for this great run. And we look forward. Miss Brianna Tucker, who is Player of the Year. And Miss Zoe Jones, Pitcher of the Year. The 2 top athletes. And of course, we want to thank all of you for being ambassadors of goodwill for the town of Louisburg. We appreciate it.
Thank you all.
So thank you.
Great job.
Great job. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Great job.
And I must say, these young ladies were already on their summer vacation. And they made the trip back to Louisburg to be honored tonight. Again, I thank them. Thank you. All right. Moving on to our next item is the public hearing. The ordinance to extend corporate boundaries for Green Hill subdivision. Mr. Slater?
Mayor, I think you need to open up the session for public
All
hearing.
right. Can I get a motion to go into public hearing?
So moved.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we open public hearing to discuss the ordinance to extend the corporate boundaries for Green Hill subdivision. Also in this is the zoning map amendment for 104 Fox Park Road to amend from agriculture residential to office industrial. And also our budget ordinance for fiscal year 2020, fiscal year 2023-2024. Okay, and we'll begin with Mr. Slater.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Item A, the ordinance to extend corporate boundaries for Green Hill subdivision phase 4. This is the last step in the annexation process, which we started several months ago. You may recall that we have annexed the old golf course, which represents Green Hill phases 1 through 3. This is an adjacent piece of land that is currently vacant, but yet will be developed. They've gone through the rezoning process. They've also submitted a plat for the development. It'll be about 174 units, which is a mixture of townhomes and single-family homes. And so they petitioned the town to bring that into the corporate limit so that they'll be eligible to get the infrastructure they need in order to proceed. So again, this is just the last step in that process.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Slater. And any comments from the public as it relates to this, to extend the corporate boundaries for Green Hill? Comments of the council? Item D is a zoning map amendment for Fox Park, 104 Fox Park Road, from agriculture residential to office institutions. Mr. Slater.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a piece of land that is roughly at the corner of Fox Park and 39 South. You may remember a while back, I think I brought to council, or at least described to council, the old nursing home that's located next to the mobile home park on 39. That got changed by the Zoning Board of Adjustment to a young adult children's mental health or psychiatric home. And so there was a lot of discussion after that was approved by the owners to try to put a facility on that same piece of property so that they could have office space, because the home itself is for the residents. And so after a lot of discussion, they were unsuccessful in trying to figure out a way to do that. Because the people who own the nursing home, or the psychiatric home, own this piece of property, they opted to carve out 2.7 acres in order to place a one-story office building, about 4,500 square feet, in order to house the office staff. And so this step, they've gone through the planning board. It has received a favorable recommendation. This is going to be zoned, as I said, office institutional, which is appropriate. It's consistent with the plan, the town's comprehensive plan, and so the board, as I said, recommended approval. In the event that you do act on this in a favorable way, just on page 16, you will note, as we've done in the past, this just needs to be read into the record as the motion.
Okay, any comments from the public as relates to this? Comments from the council?
Mr. Slater, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So is this currently, the older facility, is that currently being used as this?
They're not,
purpose?
the operation is not active at the moment. They have been trying to do the remodeling on the inside, but they're getting close to actually operating.
Okay. And will that do anything in regards to, I know that's close to the intersections of Green Hill, is that going to in any way play a part in congesting that area?
It's my understanding that the number of office staff is actually going to be on a rotation, in other words, on shifts, so that the actual number of people coming and going at any one time will be fairly small. So I don't think it will have hardly any effect on the actual traffic movements at that location.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the council? Okay, the third item.
You want to allow the public?
Yes, yes, please. Any other comments from the public? Third item, the budget ordinance for fiscal 2023-2024. Mr. Mayor.
Mayor, council, thank you. In your packet this month included a budget ordinance that gave you a balanced budget for fiscal year 23-24. Do you have questions?
I have a question. In this current budget, we are adopting for the town employees the pay scale that we went with option 1 and a 4% COLA for the town employees, in which the COLA will come in January. Is that correct? My question is, in adopting the budget and adopting option 1, does that mean that we adopt the entire pay study? Or are we just accepting the payment option of the study?
We're accepting the pay option. The pay study will come later
Okay.
for you to adopt.
Okay. And so then the process after the budget is passed or approved, then what will happen? What information will be getting to the town employees? I know that they have all been very, very patient going through the process of the study. So what happens? So in July, after the new budget is passed, are they called in? Are they given a copy of their new job description? The new writings.
So what will happen, I'll meet with the department heads and then meet with the employees so that they understand what the pay option is and what their pay will increase to or remain at. And then I can give them a copy of the actual study of the job description once we adopt the actual personnel policy.
Okay. And then we have some, say if there's an adjustment that needs to be made in the pay study, perhaps someone's classified incorrectly or whatnot, we're going to make that correct. Thank you.
Mr. Midland, does the audit review have any bearing on this budget? that we haven't received yet?
Yes, sir. It should,
It should not?
it should not.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, what kind of tax increase does this budget include?
A 5 cent
5 cent
per 100
per 100?
of assessed value.
And on the capital outlay projects, are any of these covered in the budget?
All the capital outlay that you had in the, oh, you talking about the capital project?
Right.
Not all of them are. We're actually working to get funding on those. I made you aware of those with the capital projects, what we have. Because we're seeking funding. If we can get grant funding, we'll go after grant funding, and then I'll bring you an amendment at that point to say this is how our funding will operate for those capital projects.
And going back to the pay study, Councilman Stein brought up a point of the employees were classified through the pay study. Some of them, from my understanding, are overpaid. They won't receive anything other than just their 4% COLA.
In January, that is correct.
Mr. Medlin, has there been an update as to when we might receive our audit?
The OPEB has come, and it has been forwarded to the auditor, and he is working on it. He asked for some information this afternoon. We have responded to that.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the council? Any questions from the public as it relates to our budget as well? Anything that you've
Yes.
discussed? Yes, ma'am.
Joyce Neff, 203 John Street. I just wanted to know where are the fees now for the legal representation for the appeal for the moving of the statue? I looked for them and couldn't find them.
They will be under attorney's fees.
There was a big, let me say the word for it, appropriation amendment that looked like a big number was taken out.
For the current year or the upcoming budget?
I'm a little confused about that. I'll just come see you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any other questions from the public? Bring it back to the council. Any others? If not, can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Close the public hearing.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded that we close public hearing on the three said items. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item number 10, the adoption of an ordinance to extend the corporate boundaries for Green Hill subdivision. Mr. Smith.
Again, Mayor, members of the council, this is just the actual vote that you'll be taking to complete this process.
All right. Could I get a motion to approve the adoption of the ordinance to extend the corporate boundaries for Green Hill?
Motion to approve the ordinance annexing Green Hill subdivision phase 4.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the adoption of the ordinance to extend the corporate boundaries for Green Hill subdivision phase 4. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, item number 11 on the agenda, adoption of the ordinance to amend the zoning map for Fox Road, for 104 Fox Road, from agriculture to residential, to office institutional. Can I get a motion to approve of that adoption?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we approve the adoption of the amendment for the zoning map.
Forgive me, Mayor,
I gotta
again,
read the statement.
Right.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the request that the parcel identified by Franklin County Tax ID number 049692 be approved for rezoning from agricultural residential AR to office/institutional O&I. Given the findings for this request are consistent with the 2030 Louisburg Comprehensive Plan and shown to be in the public interest as the rezoning contributes to and the overall economic well-being of the town and will result in a more logical and orderly development pattern. As a matter of council record, the following motion was given by town council on June the 19th, 2023. I need a second.
I'll second.
It's been moved and properly second that we adopt this motion as read for the zoning map for the agriculture residential to office institution. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Item number 12, adoption of the budget ordinance for fiscal year 2023 and 2024, as stated. Can I get a motion?
Mayor, can I make a couple of comments?
Of course.
I know we did this budget differently than we've ever done one before. And I don't know if it's called an experiment or what, but I think it has had some unintended results. And I would just like to say that I think we have had, it's caused some dissension amongst staff, and I think that we need to have the budget prepared by our professional staff with the finance department and our town administrator, as town administrator meets weekly with the department heads and they take our views in consideration and then come up with a budget. I think that we spent a lot of time going around in circles, and I just would like to see us in future allow them to do what we're paying them to do, which is to give us advice, and then we sift it through what citizen input we have and what we see as being in the best interest of the public for the entire town. And so that's just something that I'd like us to put in the record to consider next year.
Thank you. Okay. So the motion, can we get the motion for that?
I make a motion to consider. Emma Ruth just said about the motion for next year. We need the head of the departments to come in and talk about their own budget.
Well, that was just a statement about a remark about the budget in general for consideration, but I haven't made any motion on the budget.
Okay, I make a motion, we include that for next year, to include the departments to do their budget, and is that it?
In addition to, this is the approval for the budget.
Yes.
Ordinance, okay, for next budget.
Motion, can I get a second?
I'm sorry, what's her hers was a statement, is hers a motion?
Her motion to approve the budget ordinance, but including some of the statements that
Well, a statement, I don't know what you say.
You can't, that's not something that has to be voted on.
I
she
don't
just wanted to
think
include
it
that
have
in
to
the,
be
she can
voted
amend
on.
it.
I just,
Basically, it's just a simple motion to approve the budget.
that's right.
All right, you've heard your motion.
Well, Eddie, you make a motion to approve the budget.
They said I had to make a motion because you were making a mistake.
Oh,
So,
no.
okay, so do we need to have a motion at this moment?
Yes, the motion to approve the adoption of the budget ordinance of 2023 and 2024.
Okay, so that's what we need to send you this letter, is that it?
Yes. You skipped it. Okay, just a motion to approve the adoption of the budget ordinance. Councilman Stewart she just wanted to make this statement for clarification for next year as we move in our budgeting process. So that does not necessarily have to be included. It's just taken under advisement as we go through our budgeting process for next year.
I would like to make a motion to include
Just make a motion.
The budget,
Yeah, just make a motion to approve the budget ordinance for 2023. So we have a motion to approve the adoption of the budget ordinance for 2023 and 2024. That is the motion. Can I get a second? I second the motion. I second the motion for the adoption of the budget ordinance for fiscal year 2023 and 2024. All in favor of the adoption of this ordinance, let it be known by show of hands. All opposed, let it be known by show of hands. Okay. So, the budget ordinance passes. Yes, we pass it on a hand vote of 4-3.
I thought Betty was ready to vote.
It was making a motion to approve it, yeah. And then now the
And so
vote.
now we have the budget. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have we just adopted the budget on a 4-3 vote.
Well, I was voting for the budget.
Yeah, and you just,
Okay,
just did.
good, all this.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the town of Louisburg has a budget.
Thank God.
You see, budgeting and the budget process, it's like, you've heard the term making sausage. That's exactly what it is. It's a lot of different variables to it. And I'm glad to say after 3 or 4 sessions discussing this budget, we have finally passed it. So that's how difficult budgeting is. Not necessarily locally here in Louisburg, but just about everywhere. So, thank you. We have a budget. Ladies and gentlemen, the town of Louisburg have a budget. Thank you. Right. Item number 13, resolution for award the strap contract for stream floor in the rehabilitation project. Mr. Maverick.
Mayor, Council, thank you. In 2022, the town received $257,769 grant award from the North Carolina Department of Agriculture to undertake the stream flow restoration work along the Tar River. The bid process has been completed and the town has received bids for this project. As one qualified bid coming from Carolina Cleaning and Restoration out of Greenville in the amount of $212,980. I'm asking for approval of the resolution to award this bid so the clean up restoration.
Make a motion to adopt it.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we adopt the resolution to award the strap contract stream flow rehabilitation project. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? And ladies and gentlemen, what this is that perhaps maybe you have strolled across the Tar River Bridge and you've seen an accumulation of a lot of debris, of trees and stumps and things that were accumulating at the base of the bridge. That caused a massive buildup of all of this vegetation there, which we had to have professional help in order to get it removed. Nature did a lot of it when we had our most recent high flood there. It moved a lot of it there, but still we need the services to, as we move forward, to prevent this type of build-up again. So that's what this strap contract is all about. Item number 14, the resolution to approve the ARPA-related policy and the financial internal controls. Mr. Carter.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Before you tonight is, for your consideration, is a resolution to approve the internal control policy. This continues on what was approved at the last meeting, those policies such as the allowable cost policy and the non-discrimination policy. This is another step in order for us to be approved for the $450,000 NC Department of Commerce Rural Transformation Grant. The internal control policy focuses on the controls related to finance as far as segregation of duties, just make sure that the finances are properly safeguarded. So that's what the internal control policy focuses on. So if I could get a motion to approve the resolution that's attached, or if you have any questions.
I move we approve.
It's been moved and properly second that we approve the resolution of offer related, on the offer related part for financial internal controls. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item 15, the resolution for appointments to the Board of Commissioners. Mr. Slade.
Thank you, Mayor. We had 2 vacancies that we posted on our website. One was for the planning board. The planning board required that the individual reside in the ETJ, or the extraterritorial jurisdiction, which is the sort of 1 mile buffer between the town limits and then the edge of that boundary. We received 1 application that qualified, Mr. Robert, or Bobby, I think he likes to go by, Bob Frisbee. If you look on page 80 of your packet, you'll see a quick summary of his application. Similarly, we had 1 vacancy in the Historic Commission, for which we got 1 applicant as well, Mr. Crawford, Terry Crawford, who lives in the district. And just as a footnote on the planning board, because it's an ETJ appointment, the county has to give its concurrence. So if you approve this resolution with Mr. Frisbee, it's going to be subject to the county's concurrence, which they're meeting, which they will take up at their July meeting. I don't necessarily foresee an issue, but it's just mechanics.
Excuse me, do I need to recuse myself of this?
No, sir, I don't think so. The fact that you made a recommendation, that doesn't really
The fact
hinge on.
that he's doing work for me also.
Well, if that's the case, then yes.
So I'm going to recuse myself from this vote.
Is that gentleman here tonight? Okay.
And make a motion to adopt both parties for the boards and thank them for their help.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the appointments to the Board of, to the Planning Board, as well as the Board of Historic, the Historic Commission Board. And the names were Mr. Bobby Frisbee and
Terry Crawford.
Terry
Can
Crawford.
you do this vote separately since Tom is recusing himself from Mr. Frisbee's vote?
All right, we'll go with the board, the Planning Board, Mr. Frisbee. All in favor of the appointment to Mr. Bobby Frisbee to the Planning Board, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The second, Mr.
Mayor,
Chair.
can I let it be stated I abstain from that vote in the record?
Sure, okay. Okay. The second is the Mr. Terry Crawford for the Historic Commission Board. And these candidates serve on a 4-year term. So as they are appointed for tonight, then they will serve for 4 years. And and that will apply for Mr. Crawford as well. All right. Can I get a motion to approve Mr. Terry Crawford for the Historic Commission?
I make the motion to accept Mr. Crawford.
I second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second that we accept Mr. Terry Crawford to serve on our Historic Commission with the town of Louisburg. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, item number 16, approval of the budget amendment number 4 to close the fiscal year for 2022 and 2023. Mr. Carter.
Yes, sir. Before you tonight is budget amendment number 4 for the current fiscal year. Included in this budget amendment are transfers to capital projects as detailed in your agenda report. Also included in this budget amendment are some cleanup of sales tax accounts, professional services, moving the budget from the electric fund to the general fund. The expenses were charged originally to electric fund, but they should not be charged there, so we're moving them to the general fund. Also increase the building maintenance in the police department for $30,000 for water damage and repair. Increase in the operations in the police department, vehicle operations in the police department by $20,000. And also the budget for pension expense in each fund as detailed below in the agenda report. I'm here for any questions. If not, I'm looking for a motion to approve.
I have a question about $30,000 for the police department for the water damage. Why is that not an insurance claim?
It is. So if you look in the detail of the budget ordinance, you'll see that insurance proceeds on the first page, 10-396-0000. You'll see an increase there. That includes the water damage and I think something else as well. That's why it's not exactly $30,000. I think it might be a vehicle also.
Mr. Cardin, on this list, there's projects that are listed regarding Church Street, Joyner Park. And those are things that I'm in no way familiar with. So are those older projects are they old capital projects that we're cleaning up at this point in time?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. There's no new expenditures happening with those projects. This is a bookkeeping adjustment to move the funds into the project that were originally budgeted for in the capital project ordinance.
So the funds were in the account at the time of the project, right?
They
But
were
this is just
budgeted for, but they were just never moved.
Okay. And then this will close them out and get them off of our,
Well, I will come at hopefully some point next year to close out those projects.
so we're doing some housekeeping.
I think the state DOT have been holdups with DOT, hadn't Westfield.
He's in that.
Okay, well, I think there've been holdups with the DOT on some of these projects, and that's why, that's part of the reason for this.
Okay, any other questions from the council?
Mr. Cardin, I just want to make sure that it looks like maybe possibly 4 capital projects here. That's still ongoing.
I spoke with Town Administrator Sean this afternoon, and we briefly went through the list, and it looks like the ones that are ongoing at the moment is the North Main Street Sidewalk project. And that looks like the only one on here. All the others are finished.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that, am I?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Not, could I get a motion for approval?
I move we approve.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the budget amendment option 4 to close out the fiscal year for 2022 and 2023. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, item number 17, approval to amend the utility payment policy. Mr. Cardin, we're keeping you busy tonight.
All right, for you tonight is a request to amend the utility extension policy. Currently, we offer extension policy, an extension to our customers every month. So they can get an extension this month and then come back the next month and get another extension. We would like to decrease that because right now it's currently putting a burden on our staff, and, staff time. And where it is now, most of the extension, people who come in and get extensions are repeat, and they come in every month, the majority of them. And I think the purpose of the extension policy is to help customers, like, if they have any temporary hardship. It's not meant for a recurring thing every month. So I spoke with Emily Collins, our business office manager. She reached out to several municipalities, and the most common was allowing 4 per year, once per quarter. So I'm coming to you tonight to request that we amend the utility extension policy to allow 1 extension per quarter for a total of 4 per year.
And as if we were to approve this, how would we let the customers know that this policy is now going into effect? Would that be our regular on the website or on the regular monthly utility?
So before I answer that question, I want to say that this change won't take effect until January 1st. So that'll allow time for the word to get out. We can put it in the newsletter, we can post it on Facebook, and as they come in to fill out extension policy, we can put a notice on the window, and we can let them know as they come in, hey, starting January 1st, this is going to be a once a quarter.
And also, I think we should make it clear to them, even though they're asking for an extension, the late fees still apply.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gordon, if somebody asks for an extension and has an extreme circumstance come up within that same quarter, what is the impact on the customer?
I'll have to speak with Emily Collins to see what we normally do on something like that. The rules are if they're behind on their payment for a month, then they get cut off. And that's why, we have this extension in place to give them a few extra days to come up with the payment. I hate to put Sean Mello on the spot. I don't know if he's aware.
I would think we would go case by case, Councilman Russell. I think, if we see they truly have a need, I think we definitely would want to work with somebody. If it's just, and if we work with them and we see it's a repeat, we definitely address the issue.
Mr. Carden, can I ask you and Mr. Medlin a question? I know it says in our packet that remember we implemented this during COVID, which I think was a very good idea. Was there any limitation on these extensions pre-COVID, or had people been allowed to do it monthly?
So before COVID, we actually worked with them, and we saw that as the numbers began to increase, we would work with them to say, we're sorry, you only get basically, I think it was 4 then, if I recall correctly. We got maybe 4 extensions a year as well, or maybe 3 a year. There were very few extensions a year. But then when COVID came, it became rampant because people were asking for extensions constantly because they may not work, or they may be out of work 2 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever, and so funding for them had become an issue.
And as I remember, people really did make a concerted effort to try to get caught up, which I thought was very commendable. I don't think it was abused, but that's what I was wondering if, what had been the policy before. So this is sort of basically going back to that.
Any other questions from the council? All right, could I get a motion for approval for the, okay, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to adopt the amendment, please.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second that we approve the amendment to the utility payment policy as stated by Mr. Carden. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, item number 18, our administrative report. Mr. Medley.
Mayor, Town Council, in your packet this month, you'll find the financial statements for the town of Louisburg, as well as the Louisburg ABC store financials for the month of March and April. Staff has received a draft copy from Oakley Collier for the Depot Hill project. The contract is currently under review. The North Main Street water line project is under engineering design. The bids related to the solid waste RFQ were due on June the 15th. Once the bids have been reviewed, I'll follow up with the council to let you know the results. I have received resumes for the open IT and public services director's position. Those candidates are under review, and I'll keep you abreast of how we're proceeding. With the departure of the street department superintendent this past Thursday, I'll be posting this position immediately. And one final thing I forgot to put on here that I should have put on here, and that is cemetery cleanup. We'll be working that. I think it's July the 1st is when everything is done, I believe. July 1st, was that right?
July 1st, yes.
July 1st is the day everything needs to be up. So if anyone has anything in the cemeteries that you want to keep, please get it up so we can do some major cleaning over there. And if you have questions or concerns, please feel free to call Tom Hall and we'll let you know. If you're able to leave it while we're cleaning or whatever. So.
Does that include flowers that are in stationary bases on the gravestone?
If they are, I think from my understanding, if they are look good, they'll probably be left. If they're bad, they'll be pulled because faded or whatever. We want to do a clean sweep.
Okay.
But if there's anything in a vase,
As long as they're on
the
the actual
Tomb
tombstone.
thing, you know, or other things
Yeah.
that the minor people fix.
that's right.
Because we just had Mother's Day and Father's Day, some children and flowers went out to the grave.
I'm sure. And that's it. That's all I have, please.
Okay, thank you. Item number 19, the mayor's report. There were two things I've done since the last month meeting. Couple of things. On June 3rd, I attended what we call the Wear Orange event, which was at the courthouse steps. And the Wear Orange is a movement to raise awareness for the gun violence, victims of gun violence, and also to bring an awareness to that for the citizens, as well as an effort to unite the community, to make them aware of this violence there, and all to be conscious of the little things that we can do to try to prevent this. And also overall suggestion was to bring the community together. Also attended the last segment of the open table dinner at the Methodist Church. That was the last one until the fall of the year. And it's always a good thing to go out and meet the community, and the purpose was to bring all of the citizens in the community together, this fellowship. You know, sometimes you can meet people who you never met before, you know, and that was the purpose of the whole events there. And that was the open table dinner. Last month it was the, as I mentioned, they honored our police force. So that was a good event as well. So it's all about fellowship, and I enjoyed it, and I appreciated the invite that I got from the Methodist Church. Also attended and spoke at what we call the Juneteenth program. Juneteenth is a national holiday now for those who may not fully understand what it is. Juneteenth is a takeoff on the Emancipation Proclamation that was signed by Abraham Lincoln in 1863, freeing the slaves. However, all of the slaves were not freed at that time. In the state of Texas, did not learn about it until 1865. So up until that time, from the executive order by President Lincoln in 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation, there was still slavery in our country via states, and in particularly with the state of Texas. Slaves were still slaves until federal troops went to Galveston and placed an order on a church door, letting the public know that slaves were free. Immediately, slaves rejoiced, began to pool their funds to buy land and go free. So that's a great historical moment, and it's now being recognized as a national holiday. So that was fun. And we had it at Joanna Park. It was an event in which, it was actually an event of celebration, really. We had vendors there, a lot of vendors, had food trucks as well. So that's a good thing. Food trucks now can set up at Joanna Park. And we had a lot of dance groups. We had historical poems read and all. So it was a very, very informative and good event. Had bands and music as well. So enjoyed that. Finally, I tried to visit the seniors at their facilities there on Smoke Tree. So yesterday, my wife and I went to visit seniors, the people who were unable to get out. And here's the thing that I would encourage everybody to do, if they can. Just visit the nursing homes. And as you walk the halls there, just say hello to some of the seniors there. And you will be surprised at the impact that you would have on these individuals by just simply giving them a visit. Just simply saying hello, to stop by. And you'll be surprised of the response that you get. And some of these people, you know, some of them don't have families, or families don't visit them. So it's a good thing, and you know, visiting seniors. So that was a heartwarming experience for me. So I try to do that at least once a month to visit. So as I leave those seniors, I feel, you know, a sense of gratitude and a good feeling for me. So that was how I spent my month visiting different events there. That was my report. The next report, the item 20, police and fire report. We talked with the chief and others to just simply have him just read his report for the sake of time tonight. Since we had a lot on our agenda, he agreed to just let us just read his report this time. Item 21, public comment. At this time, we will recognize comments from the public. And I see that with the citizens that we have here, I'm sure you may have some comments. So now is the time that you can come forward and express your comments to us. But let me say, as you come forward, just simply give your name and address for the record, so we can make a record of it. Yeah, and the procedure is, ladies and gentlemen, as you make your comments, we will not comment back to you during the course of this. We will take it under advisement and then respond back to you after, you know, at a later time. So, any comments from the public? Anyone has anything to say? Yes, sir.
My name is Sean Best. I live at 428 Walton Road.
May I ask you to come forward to the mic there? And you have 3 minutes, sir.
I'm just going to move that.
Okay.
Obviously, this issue with the food
Did I have to
trucks.
give your name and address again?
My name is Sean Best. I live at 428 Walton Road.
Okay.
The issue of the food trucks has brought up a lot of feedback, whatever you call it. But my point to the people of Louisburg and to the town council is you need to remember that you affect a lot of people who have no say in this town. There are many business owners in this town that do not live within the town and therefore have no vote. They have no say. Their businesses are decided by what you all decide here. I was put out of business in this town partly because of what the town council did. That cost me $400,000. And I was a small business. So my point to the people of Louisburg is remember who you vote for. And to you as a town council, talk to your business people, please. Try to understand what they're going through, what they're facing, how your rules affect them. It's easy to make a rule and you know, an apology is okay, but damage has been done. You broke faith and trust with the business people that came to this town, believing in this town, believing in you, and you didn't protect them. Remember that, please, when you make rules and when you make decisions.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Dwight Neal, 1322 Hickory Rock Road, Louisburg, North Carolina. I'm also the commander of the Franklin Rifles SCB Camp number 310. This Thursday is the third anniversary of the ridiculous Zoom meeting held here while the public were locked outside trying to listen. The council met live the week before and every meeting since, but the people were shut out that night. I was told that night that at least one member was not even present in this room. And I asked you, if you can't vote tonight if you're not here, why was that allowed at that time? I haven't spoken here in almost 3 years. Didn't plan to anytime soon. But after the Franklin Times thankfully printed what was actually said during the May 19th budget meeting, I must. Councilmember Stewart said the lawsuit was outrageous and feels like there should be some mechanism that the town can recoup its costs for bringing what to me seems awful frivolous. And I agree with her. The 4 members who voted to illegally remove our monument on property that belonged to the United Dollars for Confederacy should be sued and reimburse the town for all the costs that they have brought forth and all the future costs involved. It has always been obvious that this was a political action to pacify a minority to get votes and to satisfy Will Hinton and others at Louisburg College in their desire to change our history. And Will did it. To show you how things changed, the following is a quote from the News Observer, April 20th, 2018. For now, said Louisburg Town Council member Emma Ruth Stewart, Hinton, his colleagues, and some of their students are the only ones picturing that monument anywhere other than where it has sat for 104 years. I think the majority feeling of the people is that they want it to stay where it is. She said Will does not love, I give it to Will that he loves Louisburg, I grant you that. I think he just has a hard time accepting that everyone does not share the same vision he has. Wow, a former United Dollar of the Confederacy and she now shares the same vision.
I'm Doug Berger. I live at 125 Hunters Lane, Youngsville, North Carolina. And I want to give a different point of view from the previous speaker. I am proud, I think the majority of citizens of Franklin County are proud that this city council made the decision to take down that Confederate statue and put it where it needed to be, honoring the war dead.
Amen. Yes.
I love Civil War history. I was a North Carolina history teacher for 3 years in eastern North Carolina. I've been to Fort Sumter. I've been to Bentonville Battleground. I've been to Fort Macon. I think there's a role and a place to look at the Civil War history and certainly to honor those who died on both sides of that war. That statute, though, had disinformation on it. It suggested that the South fought the war in defense of constitutional liberty. And what it fought for was states' rights, and specifically the right to own the slaves. And I believe the people of Louisburg want to move forward. That we want to put those old battles aside and unify this community and this county, and having a diverse community. I think we're proud of the college. The college is the last 2-year college in the state of North Carolina. It is predominantly African American, and your judgment, your foresight to know that it was important to move ahead. Now, there are other communities that didn't handle this issue properly. In Durham, people just tore the statute down. Well, that was wrong. That didn't look out. You know, people have ancestors who served in that war. It was a rich man's war, a poor man's fight here in North Carolina. Most North Carolinians didn't own slaves. So it is appropriate to honor the war dead, but not to promote the institution of slavery. So thank you. Thank you for the historic vote you did 3 years ago.
Oh, I thought you were yelling for votes.
Hi, I'm Joyce Neff, 203 John Street. I want to speak for the same issue and a couple of other things. Twice now, the court has decided that the statute is fine where it is. The reason that I ask for the monies to be separated is that so we can see how much it's costing us to defend this, yes, frivolous lawsuit, appealing those 2 previous decisions. I also wanted to thank you for the financial internal controls portion. Thanks for that. And let's see. And regarding the cemetery, how about we put some trash collection thing there for people that want to take their things off and throw them away there? That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Neil, council members, county administrators, city employees, members of the audience, come before you tonight.
Can I ask you to give your name?
Tim Gupton, 1365 Graysmere Road, Louisburg, North Carolina. Come before you tonight, first of all, thanking you for your decision related to the food truck and Mr. Cox and his family. Greatly appreciated by those individuals that are here, that are unable to attend. I do include information related to numerous emails that were sent to each of you. And my understanding is, I'm not sure if it's an email issue that you may want to address, but my understanding is that some of you did not receive those emails. I understand you're looking for an IT director. I understand you have a third-party NCOL as your email, but I would say there's very important emails that are coming to your attention that you may or may not be receiving. Thirdly, and most importantly, we do look forward to the public forum that you have suggested tonight, and we would like for that to be made public so that we can be part of that.
In a bigger space. In a bigger space. Yes. Not here.
And I am Stephen Gupton, 20 Pittsford Drive, that maybe it's a relation. I wanted to thank you as well, Mayor, Town Council, for the amendment to the food truck regulations or ordinances. I also wanted to add, I sent an email to everyone who was listed as a council person. Did not get any responses. That was on Thursday, June the 15th. Did speak with the council person that Friday night on the TAR, who advised me that you are locked out of your emails. Again, I'm glad to know that you got some applications for IT administrators so we can get some responses from you now. Right. Several sections in the ordinance, though, in the public hearing, so to give you some creative, innovative ideas prior to that, I outlined everything in that email. It's a pretty lengthy email. Section 12.1, 12.5 talks about diversification, and it is nothing diverse about the ordinance. Okay? It does not promote diversification. Section 12.3 talks about a location of authorized locations. Speaking specifically to those who look like me on the council, there's no place on the south side of town for food trucks other than Joyner Park. So I'm going to ask and charge you to ensure that folk on that side of town can enjoy food trucks as well. Section 12.4 talks about the requirement to be connected to town power. We talked about generators in that. I'm actually interested to know why they wouldn't be able to run silent generators. I attached Zebulon as well as Roseville's policy on their food truck ordinances for your reference, so that you can look at some creative and innovative ideas once again prior to that public hearing, so that you can have some stuff to talk about with those citizens as well. 12.5 talks about the permits only being valid for 60 days. The folks are applying in November, December, hoping that those days roll over to the next year, so those folks are not paying for permits that they cannot use. In addition, 12.7, the town administrator has the authority to halt food truck permits. I'm hoping that communication will be sent to the food truck owners in a timely manner, so those folks are not losing any type of significant revenue in the event that the town has a special event. 12.8 outlines penalties. This is very important to me and other folk. Penalties and remedies. A $50 civil penalty or a 30-day imprisonment. Those two things are not equal, so I'm going to ask that you look at those as well. $50 is one thing. 30-day imprisonment for violating a policy or ordinance that they may not know is in place is absolutely unacceptable. Also, I would advise against folks publicly posting that they did not know what they were voting on prior to meetings. Unacceptable. I work in Durham, but I'm a Franklin County resident, been here all my life. This is where I spend my money. I don't stop and shop in Durham. I teach there, I work there. This is where I spend my money. And just like Sean said earlier, the decisions you make in this chamber will impact me and other folks in this district. In addition, I do hope that the town administrator is hired tomorrow so we can get some responses. But no, just kidding, but thank you for your time.
Been a long night. I'll try to be brief. I'm Dr. Philip Stover, 307 North Main Street. I hope what I'm bringing isn't anywhere near as controversial as what's come up so far. But I'd like to address the need for a social district here in Louisburg, a permanent, ongoing social district. Currently, we only have a social district during special events. And it creates problems for some of the downtown businessmen, as our previous speaker spoke to. When we do have a social district, businesses adjoining a social district are not allowed to sell things inside their businesses that can be taken out into the social district. They have to have a kiosk out in the social district, which is very inconvenient, to say the least, for a lot of these businesses, because they don't have the staff to run both a kiosk and can keep their indoor business going. So they have to make a decision to close one or the other. And sometimes it helps their businesses, sometimes it hurts them. So what is the purpose of a social district? First, it's to provide citizens with expanded entertainment options. Secondly, it is to increase foot traffic in our business district. Third is to help established and new businesses expand their business, which benefits everybody by expanding our tax base, providing more jobs, and more opportunities for our citizens. So I have made a proposal here. I've printed out. I'm going to give you this handout. I apologize, there may not be enough copies because my printer's screwed up. This would greatly expand the area of the social district to include almost all of downtown Louisburg. It would expand the hours, basically making it permanent, which is what's happening in a lot of municipalities and cities in North Carolina. It will allow existing business to use their existing facilities, and it'll greatly, I believe, increase foot traffic in our downtown district. Thank you for your consideration.
Anyone else? No one else? Okay. Thank you, and thank you for your comments as well. This is a good thing in keeping the lines of communications open and having you to bring forth your comments on the things that you want to see here in Louisburg. Thank you. Item 22, council comments. Mr. Russell, have anything you would like to share this evening?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for showing up tonight. It's a great crowd. I appreciate the passion everybody took for this. I guess most people are here for the food trucks. I would like to say I wish we could show this passion at every meeting that we have. We've had several budget meetings. That's where your tax dollars go. We've adopted a tax raise. Things that I think are important that we might neglect at times. Our fire department runs on 2 people per shift. If you have a structure fire, there has to be 3 there. So no volunteers show up, they're going to have to just let it burn. But we got a lot of people with food trucks, so that's something that we need to take into consideration. Chief Abbott works hard for our police department, not only for retention, but for recruiting. We've got several police officers that are going to retire soon. Whereas we need the same kind of passion to make sure we've got good people protecting you, keeping you safe. Other things that have been brought up before this council that I feel like we need people to come and address them in more numbers. We've had issues about the homeless, about opioid addiction, even the bike path being unsafe. I wish we could give the same amount of passion when we talk about where your money goes. Thank you.
Councilman Clancy?
I'd just like to thank everyone for being here and their input. It helps us govern, and I just thank everybody's input.
Councilwoman, right?
Yes, I would also like to thank everyone for being here this evening. It's good to see you all here. And please come back the next Thursday, Monday night, when we have our meeting. You are always welcome. This is what we need to do.
Councilwoman Stein?
I have a few things, Mayor. First, I would like to congratulate Mike Burchett on his retirement from the town of Louisburg. He served our community for 26 years and 2 months. And we wish him all the well and thank him for all of his hard work. Thanks for everybody that came out to Friday night on the TAR. If you guys are looking for something to do on the 3rd of July, fireworks will be held at the high school. I would like to say thank you, although it's a week late. On the 12th of June is Women's Veterans Day, and I would like to thank anyone who has served. And this weekend is the Blueberry and Music Festival in Bunn at Bulmer Farm, if you would like to attend that. On a personal note, I would like to reply to a comment that was given to me from a citizen regarding why I may be an advocate for the fire department. Actually, I'm an advocate for all the town employees. In last year's budget with ARPA funds, I asked, and we as a council voted on an outdated and expired equipment. And it should be inexcusable to any citizen in this town that it is acceptable for employees to be put in such a situation. The fact is, there is not enough money in our town or any town's budget for a line item that says loss of life. And that's why I'm an advocate for partially the fire department or any other department that has true needs. So, thank you. And thanks for coming.
Councilwoman Stewart.
Thank you. Again, I appreciate you coming. I've had a lot of speculation as to whether I was going to file to run again. As many of you know, I think it's been a great honor to be elected by the people of Louisburg for the past 30 years. Public service is honorable, it's challenging, and it's become more so, but I think it's very rewarding. And having grown up here, I can remember how things used to be, and I only wish to see us move forward together on a positive note into the 21st century. Some people say that they don't have time. Well, we've have a lot more conveniences now than we had, but when I ran for the council, I was involved with my husband's business, I was involved with my church, I was involved with organizations in the town, numerous things, but it was important to try to make a difference with us. I have mainly been interested in transportation and in economic development, and that's what all of my efforts have been geared to. I want to see everyone in town have an opportunity to go forward. We have some real gems here. Louisburg College is a jewel that we've had for 236 years in one form or another. We have Vance Granville Community College, we have our public schools, we have our charter schools. We need to support and be part of all of them and encourage young people to step up. With that having been said, I am not going to file for re-election. I think it's time for a younger generation to step forward and participate and make a real difference here. I've thought about it. You know, if you're at the coast and you're standing there at the edge of the water and you look out and you keep seeing waves coming in, it's always constant, the waves are coming in. And if you stand there and don't move and try to stay in the same place, you're going to get knocked down, be a child or whatever. And so I think that we need to keep that in mind and try to elect people that are going to listen to what the public's input is and to try to interpret that, work with them, and share that and move forward. And so I will encourage people to become involved and to continue to come to the council. It's important to look on the websites, check the newspaper, check here in the office. If you have a question, you don't need to wait till the council. If you hear shots fired, call Chief Abbott. Call the fire department if you have a question. We're all here to help and serve you, and that's what we want to do. But if we don't have lines of communication open, we don't know, and sometimes things get taken care of before people that might be affected by something hear about it. So, you know, I was thinking about the preamble to the Constitution. It says, in order to form a more perfect union. I mean, they knew from the beginning that what they had wasn't the best. They had to make compromises, and we've got to keep that in mind. We've got to try to make a more perfect union and all work together. And I think we want to be able to cheer young people like we did tonight and let them see that we're being responsible. So again, I thank you for being here tonight, and I hope that you will encourage people that are willing to look widely and see how Louisburg is affected by what else is going on in the world, not just what's going on in this little town, or as somebody says, this little village. So, thank you.
And we want to thank you for your years of service for the town of Louisburg.
Well, I'm gonna still be here. I'm still gonna be around in December, so don't hesitate to call or contact us. I try to respond to the emails whenever I see them, but if I feel like any of us council members would be happy to meet with you and any of the staff and try to listen to what you have to say, because we certainly are no wiser than anybody else in this town.
It takes ability.
It does, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Dickerson.
I can't follow up. It is good to see all of you here tonight. I've had the opportunity to talk to a number of people recently, and there's still a lot of people in our community that are understanding. People make mistakes, and they can correct those mistakes. And I want to thank you all tonight for your understanding. We don't see much of that in our world today. Mr. Murray, I want to thank you and your department. The transformer out 2 weeks ago one night, and lights was restored within 45 minutes. Thank you.
Always. That's what we're here for.
And I'm not just singling him out. All of our departments are important. I'm hoping, praying, that this new budget will allow us at some time in the next 12 months, as funds hopefully come available, that we can assist our fire department. It was a tough budget, a very tough budget. It doesn't go back just 1 year, it goes back multiple years. And this town has reached a point now that it's got to pay the piper. We made some tough decisions. If you are praying people, please pray for us as we move forward. It is a joy and a privilege to serve you all. I mean that. And there are some great days ahead for Louisburg, and thank you again for coming out this evening.
Thank you. Item number 23 is we go into our closed session and to discuss real estate item 143-318-11845 and 143-318-11A-6. Could I get a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
To move properly second, that we go into our closed session to discuss those items. Citizens, I want to thank you for coming out.